I'm heading back to the hotel. I just went for a walk. I shot a video when I left. I got some water, a couple snacks. But, I don't like people to hang out in videos if they don't want to be there. So let me cut to the chase. I never knew travel would be so easy. I never knew it would be so affordable. And, I think the only thing that was keeping me at home for the last 10 years was I was too scared, and I didn't realize how easy and comfortable it would be to get out here and travel. So I go through the rest of the video telling you more details on that, but if you want to cut out, I like to try and give you a summation of what's coming so you can decide to stay or go. There it is. Hey, how's it going? It's a March 2023. Jeff, channel's Not Dead Yet Adventures, and I'm in Poland. I'm only going to be here a few more weeks. Just want to kind of give a travel update or an update on how everything's been going. So it's cold, it's snowing. I went for a walk anyway. About a year ago, March 2022, just gotten back from a horrible trip in February. Everything went sideways. I mean, everything was planned really well, and it all went sideways, and I made the most of it, had the best time I could, but it definitely lacked a lot. Sorry, I'm just out here on the roadside, staying at the Hampton over here. But March was when I finally couldn't take it in my apartment anymore. The apartment wasn't doing anything to deal with the drug users living around me. They're using drugs in their apartment. It's bleeding through into my apartment. They're banging on the walls at all hours of the day and night. Literally like shaking my bed, waking me up. So I had that going on. I had my general frustration with life. I had my general frustration with California, all the crime, all the trash. And, March was when I really made the I'm getting the hell out of here decision. I've been thinking about it and talking about it for years, but I was just too cowardly. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about this the last few months. What stuck me in place so long? And then I'm looking back 10 years ago, and I'm like, why didn't I do this 10 years ago? So it really just came back down to the fact that I was just too scared, and I really didn't realize how easy traveling was. I didn't realize how expensive it can be. You look at things online, and all these scenarios played out in my head, and I was like, I just couldn't cover all the what ifs enough to be comfortable to go. And then, I had this, like I said, February and March last year was really I'm leaving no matter what. And it was literally that. Like, I got sick in the end of March and April. Probably should have stayed. But, I'm still struggling with some issues. But I just, there was no way I was staying. So I lucked out, got a house sitting gig in the Azores. Had to pay a little rent there. I paid it up front, so I was committed. Had my outs with the apartment, and they tried very hard to screw me. Probably are still trying to screw me. Good for them. But I waited for them to reply. They never replied, so I bought a ticket. And then they came back and said, "Oh no, we're not doing that." So, they had 30 days. They blew it. But, so here's the upside, right? Once I got on the road, I was stunned, right? So I talked about the bucket list on a budget in one video. My videos aren't real well formatted. I stumble through my words a lot. So, if you want the high production value, there's people out there that do that. I'm just, just a guy with a camera or with a phone, and wanted to share my experiences because, I started a YouTube channel for 3 reasons. 1, to document where I go. 2, to share my experiences, and I was having conversations with people once I did start traveling, and you start having the same conversation 10 times, and you don't want to have this long drawn out conversation about something. And then when I could just say, hey, watch this video, right? It would be a lot easier, just watch this video and see what you think. So more of those videos will be coming. And then the third one was to try and share with other people that, hey, the world is really accessible and it's not that hard. I could barely walk a couple hundred meters when I left California. I was having knee problems. I guess I could walk more than a couple hundred meters. I was making it around I think it was a 1 mile loop, but that would kill me for the day. And even when I got to Albania, I was trying to get some walking in and the Azores, but I didn't get enough in. I got some in, but when I got to Albania, I really hit it hard. And I went from icing my knee every other day to I haven't iced my knee in months. Sometimes you just gotta grind through that pain and make it happen. It's a matter of what you want. And so those are the 3 reasons I wanted to make YouTube channel, and that's going back a long ways. But honestly, I didn't realize how easy it, I realized 2018, 2019, I had this epiphany of how easy it was to travel. But to get out here and slow travel, bounce from city to city, country to country, and not go home, well, I don't have a home, so I guess I'm always home, right? But to not go back to the States, I didn't realize how easy that really was. And it really kind of concerned me at first. And, it's really simple. I could easily be over here in Europe, and you have to be selective, right? You can't just go downtown London, right? But I could easily be over here in Europe on $2,000 a month and be surviving and be happy. And part of that is I don't have a car, so I don't have insurance on the car. I don't have this, I don't have that, right? And the simple budget, I'm not going to break down all the little budgetary details, right? I watch all these budget videos from people in the Philippines, and they break down every little thing. The simple budget for me is, what's my rent? And will I have enough money after rent to cover everything else and put a little into a savings, right? So, simply put, if you have $2,000 a month, if you can keep your rent under $1,000, that gives you $1,000 to eat, your phone bill. Now, usually my rent includes, I'm Airbnb, so usually I stay away from the places where they want you to give them 100 or 200 euro up front to pay for power, and so I find the places that are all inclusive, and they have Wi-Fi, they have power, so I don't have to worry about any of that. I have a cell phone bill. When you look at my bills, I have a cell phone bill, and I've got rent, and I've got food, travel, medical insurance. That's a whole nother basket of worms, right? But something you want to look into. But you start going, okay, so $2,000 a month, You know, it is very easy. Just general numbers. If you've got 2,000 a month, you know, you can bounce around over here very easily. So where have I been? I've been to Portugal. Where have I lived? I've been to a bunch of places. Where have I lived? I've lived in Portugal, Albania, and Poland. Now here's a couple interesting things about the visas, because this is where you can kind of get yourself in trouble. Poland has an exception for US citizens you can look up, and it's really generous. Like, I don't know what US did to get such a generous visa program from Poland, but I'm very grateful for that. Albania is the same way. As a US citizen, you can show up in Albania, stay there a year, and you're good to go. Now after a year, I think you have to leave for 30 days consecutive, and then they'll start the year clock over. And I'm not talking about, you know, permanent visas or any of that. I'm just talking about tourist visas. Show up, you know, and come into the country. So here's where it gets really interesting. Is you can bounce from Poland to Albania back and forth nonstop. You know, 3 months here, 3 months there, 6 months here, 6 months there, and just keep rotating back and forth. And it's kind of ironic to me because their flags are very similar, or they're, you know, they both embrace the eagle. The Albanians have the double eagle, Polish have the single eagle. Hope I got that correct. But the people are very much the same. It really kind of struck me as very interesting. You know, once you get out of the touristy areas, the people are very much the same. They're very kind, they're very generous, they're very, you know, it's very much the same, and it's very easy to get along on just English. Now, obviously, you want to learn a few more words, and the farther north, you know, I spent a little bit of time up on the Baltic Sea, and there's a lot less English there, a lot more German, Dutch, and Russian, but you know, it was still super easy to get by in English. Shit, I have a hard time speaking English to begin with. So it's just kind of interesting, and it really kind of blew me away how simple it is to get around without a car. And you have to be selective on where you stay, right? And it limits your excursions. But if you're not out trying to be the super tourist and go to all these hot spots, like I spent, 2 or 3 weeks in Budapest, just walking around the city. And you know, you can sit there and walk around these cities. You know, it's just in Krakow, Poland. I love that city. It's probably one of my favorite cities so far. And you know, you can just spend weeks walking around that city, and then you start getting on the bus and the tram, and it's super easy, and you can go all these other places. It's just, there's so much history, so much architecture, art, food, parks. I mean, there's just so much to do if you're willing to just get out of your chair and get on the road. And there's a whole lot I did to set myself up for success. A few things I did to set myself up for failure, and maybe that'll be another video soon. But you know, even this, like, look, I just left the hotel with no real direction, just wandering around, and check out this park, right? Playgrounds. And these little exercise stations are super common in Poland, and they're all like really nice. A couple of the machines you got to look at for a bit to figure out how to work them. But in Krakow, there's one of these by the river, and you would see these people much older than me. Now I'm bouncing around in my 50s. You'd see people much older than me, like in their street clothes, out here getting a workout in. You know, I feel like I'm living in the best parts of America, but it's safer, it's cleaner, and it's easier to navigate. The other thing that I really appreciate is the food isn't so processed. Like, I was trying very hard to get off all processed food, all boxed food, stuff like that before I left. And over here, it's simple. Go buy some meat and vegetables every day and cook it up, and you're done. Pastas, there are restaurants here that I can afford to eat at, and they actually make the pasta fresh every day. That, when you go to a place and they're making pizza dough from scratch, right there in front of you, you're like, holy smokes. Because, they're not ripping it out of a bag, and it wasn't made in a plant or a factory, 100 miles, 1,000 miles away. They are literally flour, eggs, and making pizza dough. So it just kind of blows me away, how much better my life is on my little budget. Now, I'm spending more than $2,000 a month, closer to the $3,000. But, in January, I hit 5 cities in Poland. Half of that was hotel stays. I went to Turkey in February, spent a few days in Istanbul. And then this month, I'm going to transition back to Albania. So I'm bouncing around a few more cities here in Poland, and then a few days in London, and then jump back into Albania and go to the beach for a while. So, I've been living more in vacation mode the last 3 months than living mode. I've been eating out a lot more than I normally would, and, doing the sights. I mean, Krakow is kind of dangerous for me because I love being in that square downtown. They have the horses running around. There's tons of people to meet and talk to. And the food is just, the food. I never knew Polish food was so good. Like, honestly, I had no idea Polish food was so good. And I've only, hit the tip of the iceberg. I go to some places and I look at the menu, there's 50 things on there I want to try, but the one I know is so good, I want to get that one anyway. I have no chance of even making it halfway through that menu. And then there's a half dozen restaurants like that. But yeah, I was really shocked how great the food here in Poland is. I think I had the rabbit's leg. I was up on the other end of the Baltic Sea, the northeast corner, and I think it was rabbit's leg. And a little tiny meal. I mean, it was like something you see on one of those cooking shows, and I was starving. I had a busy day, and I was just starving. And I'm looking at that little meal going, damn it. I want some food. I want some, stick to your ribs food. I ate that meal, and I was full. I was done. Happy, content. It was, tasted so yummy. And, I'm a big fatty. Where's my belly? There it is. And I was still a little tiny plate of food, and I was done. Wasn't hungry. Didn't get hungry in an hour. It was just funny to me. But I think part of it is it tasted so good. I chewed it, every mouthful for minutes and minutes and extended periods of time because the flavor was so great. But my whole point is, with this loud road noise, I'm sorry, but my whole point is I really had no idea how easy, how affordable, and how great life on the road could be. And I mean, hopefully in the future I'll break down some numbers, but $2,000 a month, if you can free up, I'm not talking total income, I'm talking free up 2,000 a month. This is so doable. It's not even funny. And I'll sit down and work on an outline for some videos about how I did it in more detail, what I did to set myself up for success, the mistakes I made. But even if you're only out here a couple years, when are you going to get a chance to do this? I did a video today, tomorrow, or never. If you haven't seen that, go look for it. I think I'll probably redo that video because I wasn't super happy with it. I'm kind of very criticizing, self-critiquing, but it really comes down to you have today, tomorrow, or never. Either you're going to do it today, you're going to start tomorrow, or you're never going to do it. So I never thought I would go to Budapest, and that's the funny thing about this is once I started implementing that plan in greater detail, or not in greater detail, in greater aspects of my life, the more I implement that plan, the more things come off that never list, and things that weren't even on that never list actually get in the done list. And you're like, wait a second, I'd always heard Budapest, my whole life. And I look at the map, I'm like, oh yeah, it's over there, like whatever, right? I spent a couple weeks walking around Budapest, sucked in the culture, sucked in the vibe of the city, ate some good food, met some crazy, amazing people. And that wasn't even on the never list. That was on the, wasn't even on the dream list. It was just an opportunity that presented itself and I jumped on it. So what's on your never list? What's on your to-do list? Is it picking up trash in the creek? I did that for a couple of years. No fun. Is it fighting with people on the internet? Yeah, that ain't worth the time either. So there's a big world out here, and I plan to see a lot more of it. And I hope I meet you out here on the road. Take care. Okay, a little close here. I don't think I hit this hard enough, and this is really the important thing. If I weren't spending so much extra on little excursions and vacations, like going to Istanbul for a week and going here and spending a month in hotels, bouncing around Poland, I could be saving a lot of money out here. So financially, it's a lot cheaper than where I was living. A lot cheaper, like it doesn't even come close. And I was living pretty damn cheap in California. Like I had my budget fine-tuned down to the minimal. I could have saved maybe another $200 or $300 a month had I trimmed it even harder, but I'm not even trying out here. And if I'm in live mode, not vacation mode, I'm just naturally saving money well above and beyond what I was spending in California just to survive. My health, I mentioned I got sick last year. I still got some medical issues, but overall my health is much better than when I was living in California. Even when I was working really hard on it there, my health is better here. My endurance, I get out and walk every day, because who wants to sit in a room by yourself all day, right? It makes no sense. There's a whole world out here. I know this is just a field, a train track, and a hotel, but I was just downtown, or not downtown, but in this little residential area of the city, in a shopping center, or shopping grocery store. Met some locals, and it's just fun, right? Just get out and walk, and you meet people, you see new shit, and it's just fun. So my health on both aspects is getting better, right? I like to get out and walk. In California, I didn't like to get out and walk because there's all these problems, right? You know, I wouldn't leave the house without pepper spray, a knife, and, you know, a cell phone. And I've never felt safer, you know, once I got on the road. I mean, there were a couple spots in Portugal that were a little sketchy. In Lisbon and Porto. Italy is a little, I mean, Italy, you go to the train station, they're telling you to watch out for pickpockets when you buy a ticket. So Italy, but Poland and Albania and the Azores, I can't, I laugh when people tell me Albania is not safe. It is the funniest thing. You know instantly they've never been there. I met this guy, he was in, I don't know how to describe it. He was what we would consider a federal law enforcement of sorts on my way to Albania the second time. So I'm flying from Bari, Italy to Albania, and he's sitting next to me, and, you know, we're chatting, and the topic of safety comes up, and, you know, he said the most relevant thing I've ever heard, and it's funny because that guy Tate said it too. If you go there looking for trouble, trouble will find you and crush you. If you go there just to live your life, you're never going to have a problem. It's probably the safest place you've ever lived. And I could tell hundreds of stories, I probably will, about just how incredibly safe it is. So this all leads into my mental health. I've been angry, frustrated, you know, blah, blah, blah for a decade. I still have a little bit of that. Still have some little, you know, demons up there screwing with my head, so to speak. But, you know, with a lot of work, pretty much got my depression under control. You know, I feel like depression is one of those things that, you know, it's always there, and it's just a constant, like, tamp it down, right? But it's so much easier to deal with over here. And part of it's because I'm out getting sunshine, I'm out walking, I'm out meeting new people, I'm out having fun. You know, I can't remember when I was really having fun in California other than, you know, Taco Tuesday with some friends, or, you know, that was like my fun. So financially, I'm on the upside. Physically, I'm on the upside. Mentally, I'm on the upside. What's the downside here? You know, for 6 months, I never wanted to talk about it because, you know, I was always looking over my shoulder. What's the downside here? There's got to be, something's got to be, you know, it can't be this good, can it? I mean, really, can it be this good? It is. It really is. It really is. Like, I cannot, you know, I stress, I have, you know, you have all that everyday shit, right? Like, I was just stressed over my next, you know, 60, 90 day plan. Where am I going? Where am I staying? And like, oh, I wanted to stay there, but I missed the booking. You know, somebody else grabbed it and I wanted to stay there. I missed it. You know, oh, I missed that flight. You know, the flight doubled in price. You know, you have all those little shit, but at the end of the day, I'm not in California. At the end of the day, you know, I'm gonna go do some shit, fucking see some new shit that I never would have even thought about. I'm kind of waiting for the weather to clear here because I stayed here before, and you walk over there, you grab the train, takes you to downtown Poznan. I can't say it. Poznan. I'm in Suarez, I think that's how it's pronounced. But it takes you downtown, and there's just this beautiful park. I was walking through this cemetery last time, and it was, you know, really jerks at your heartstrings, but really beautiful cemetery. So I was kind of hoping to get blue sky to go out there and enjoy it, but got nothing but rain and snow on the forecast. But it's giving me a good time to get some rest, get some exercise, kind of slow down and ground a little. But I'm not in California. Had a conversation last night about, you know, I want to go wrap up some loose ends in California, and like, it's like pulling teeth to even think about going back to California. You know, so got to get that done, but I'm gonna go inside, a cup of coffee or tea or something and enjoy. Thanks for watching. Hope you found some value, and stay tuned. So it was a cold, rainy day, so I took a nap and wake up and the blue sky came out. Beautiful little sunset that I just kind of missed, and it's hiding behind the trees over there too, but what a lovely night it'll be. The big world out here, and I plan to see a lot more of it. And I hope I meet you out here on the road. Take care.